Yep. Go.
Hello? Technical thingies that work.
Please welcome our next speaker, Nancy Beers, and her presentation on the power of serious play. Thank you.
Oh wow, I was just doing my final setup, but that's okay. And the tables are gone. Yes. Because the last presenter promised chocolate but didn't bring them, I promised games for questions and games for volunteers. So, good afternoon. I'm not quite sure if this will work. I will just be standing here because if I walk around, the microphone tends to distort a little bit.
Maybe it's just continuously, yeah.
It's okay. I will do it without. Okay. No problem. So, good afternoon. There are a lot of people way in the back. I'm going to ask you probably to come forward later this presentation. My name is Nancy Beers and I am from the Netherlands. And I'm here to give you a presentation about the power of serious play and specifically on why I think playfulness will make you a better engineer. I think it's a necessity as a engineer or software developer to have a playful mind, and I have 7 scientific reasons why I think that is. I have some tips and I have prepared 7 games that we are actually going to play. This is a little bit about me. And with Paul, my most favorite game is Team Handball, which I play myself and I am a referee. I have been an open source hippie since the age of 13 because I got an open source laptop from my brother, or not a laptop, a computer. So I started with open source, and after that I met Microsoft products, so it's a sort of a weird situation in that case. So I'm truly happy to be on this stage to talk to this open source loving crowd. The singing comes from the fact that I'm actually a music teacher. So I studied conservatory, specifically on music teaching, and I studied business informatics. So I will stand still now, because that's better for the mic. Not quite. I'm not quite sure what to do. Is it a game? I'm a musical nerd, or a nerd that makes music, but by the raise of hands, how many of you are in IT and also a musician, also making music? Yeah. It is sort of like the same, it's both, it has the same technicalities to it from my perspective. I do some Scrum mastering at some of the projects that Brenno was talking about this morning. And since last year I finished Ludodidactiek. Ludodidactics. Ludo is the Latin word for playing. So I'm specialized in game-based learning. So that's what I do. I have collected 140 games in the last 7 years that I can play in a business setting. And my throat hurts. These are games about soft skills, human skills like communication, feedback, and all kinds of that. Unicorny, wishy-washy stuff, which is very important. But also games on technical depth, DevOps, GDPR law. There are all kinds of different games that I can use to explain and learn and unlearn things or behaviors. Today's presentation will be about sharing my ideas with you. Hopefully it's the end of the day, and although my last name is Beers, I know I'm competing with the drinks. But I hope to leave you energized and full of new ideas to actually play some games during the drinks. And let's experiment a little bit, because I like that. So first up is start-stop. This is a little bit of a warm-up exercise. Some of you already know it. The sound, is there an alternative for the sound?
Yes, we have some microphones if you want that, but we
but I can use the handheld. Let's do that then.
Test.
Oh, I think this is way better. Okay, thank you. I have been told that this could be a bit of a tough crowd. I beg to differ. I see a lot of men, and there's nothing easier than getting some men to play. So, what I would like you to do, if you're willing and able, is to stand up. It won't take long. I won't make a fun of you. You won't make a fool of yourself, especially not when you join in. So, could you please all rise? Yes, thank you. One of the things that I will start with further on in the presentation is about the fact that gaming is good for your brain and healthy for your brain because it connects the left side to your right side if you do it creatively. So now we're going to play a little game called Start Stop that I use in big crowds. It goes something like this. When I say start, you start moving, not to, I know it's warm, so just easy. And when I say stop, you stop. That's basically it. Easy peasy, right? So, start. Great job. Stop. Start. Stop. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to turn it around. If I say start, you stop. If I say stop, you start. Stop. Perfect. Start. Stop faster. Start. Stop. Start. Yes, perfect. 2 more. 4 more rounds, 2 more comments for now. If I say start, you stop. If I say stop, you start. If I say clap, you clap. If I say jump, you jump. Stop. Jump. Clap. Jump. Clap. Stop. Almost start. Stop. Clap. Stop. And start again. Okay. 3rd round. If I say start, you stop. If I say stop, you start. If I say clap, you jump. If I say clap, you jump. If I say jump, you clap. You get my drift. Okay. End of the day. Okay. Clap. Jump. Start. Stop. Stop faster. Clap. Jump. Okay. 4th round. If I say start, you stop. If I say stop, you start. If I say clap, you jump. If I say jump, you clap. If I say dance, you dance on the spot. And if I say name, you shout out your name. Clap. Perfect. Stop. Clap. Stop. Name. Dance. Start. Clap. Jump! Yes, thank you. You get my drift, right? So we are going to the final round. Yes, I know. If I say start, you stop. If I say stop, you start. If I say jump, you clap. If I say clap, you jump. If I say dance, you shout out your name. And if I say name, you dance. Clap. Stop. Jump. Dance. Yes, name. Stop. Yes. Thank you very much. And start again. Thank you all for playing this first game with me. Oh, Nancy, this is such a hard crowd. They won't do anything. They won't move. They won't talk. Play is primal. It is something we all love, we all do, but somehow, somewhere along the lines, we came up with this silly idea that playing is childish. Why? The man in the upper left corner is called Johan Huizinga, who is a Dutch guy. He wrote a book in the interbellum called The Homo Ludens. It's about the fact that he says in any free society, play is primal and play is the base of our cultural society. Play is not only playing games or being silly like we just did just that. I'm a little bit behind my breath here. But it's also about culture, about music, about theater. And as you can see, in what's going on in the world right now, where do people get hope from? It's about winning the Eurovision Song Contest, right? So play is so very essential for any free society. And it's a natural thing to do. Every mammal plays. If you look at monkeys, if you look at fish, if you look at birds, they all have some sort of playfulness in it. So it's very normal and very normal thing to do. This guy is called Dr. Brown, and he has an amazing TED Talk, which everybody should really watch that, about playfulness for adults, because that's one of the biggest things that I encounter is playing is childish. I get asked a lot to play with children, and my standard answer is I don't play with children because they already know how to do it. And somehow we unlearn because we get put in rooms like this, in chairs, in rows, and we're not free anymore to play and express ourselves. And I highly recommend you search on the TED on playfulness in adults, because it's not weird or anything. It's very, very primal. This is one of the things that I added to this presentation specifically for this conference. Is there anyone who doesn't know this game? I thought so. What I do in my work as a Scrum Master is I hopefully am able to translate technicalities to non-technical people. One of the things that I use a lot is this picture, and this is how I explain technical depth. Because play is primal, everybody understands what's happening here. If you do not fix those lines at the base of the game, you cannot add extra features. And because it's so very logical and I have never encountered someone who hasn't ever seen this game. Everybody understands that we will have a problem, Houston, if we don't fix our technical debt. So that is one of the takeaways that I want to give you. I also explain APIs, for instance, using railroad tracks, and just let software developers build what they have to build in their to make sure that the databases connect to each other. Please build it for me in a railway track, just on a table with little trains, so I can explain it to other people what we are actually building. So using playfulness to explain technical concepts is really useful. So maybe that is something that you can consider if you're ever talking to someone who doesn't have a clue what you're working on. Okay, so brain and body. The thing that I did just then is also, of course, mixing up language and movements. And as you can see, I think it's the next picture, is that it really can help make you come up with better ideas if you move around every once in a while. You are probably more receptive, hopefully, to the things that I'm telling you right now, because we just did a movement exercise. And sitting is also sort of a new pandemic, that's what I hear at least. But if you move around, your brain functions better and you will produce better code if you're a developer. But I know a lot of people don't like to run, exercise, or anything like that. Find another way. I see a lot of ping pong tables that are at companies or anything, but come up with a cool game that you can play with your colleagues to actually become a better programmer. Also, I don't know if there are any people here who have been diagnosed with any type of atypical brain like ADD, ADHD, or any other thing. Gamification can also help you in your executive functions. Because games and challenges will help you, will help rise your the right hormone levels to actually keep going on a task. That's why some of the games like Candy Crush and things like that, they of course they tap into that kind of knowledge. But you can also, there are, for instance, websites like Habitica. That's a role-playing habit game. So if you are having a hard time in keeping up with getting off your chair, or, I don't know, cooking a good meal or anything, maybe you can try gamifying it so you can fool your brain and have the dopamine shots you need to actually function better in life. Yes. Will I do this? Yes, I will do this. Brain shock. I need 4 volunteers. Yes! And again, yes. As promised, I'm not going to make a fool out of you. I'm not going to do anything weird. We're halfway there. Can we have 2 more people who want to play with me? This is going to be a long night. No, just kidding. Yes! Okay then. Okay. This is a nice game called Brain Shock, which I play it a lot. To explain how useless it is to do multitasking. And no, ladies, we are not able to multitask. That is BS. Sorry. So, I have 4 volunteers. I let the tables are removed, actually, especially for this occasion. Hopefully, okay. Let's see. Okay, so one of you will be a sort of a leidend voorwerp, victim. Not really, but I'm going to show and let's experience what multitasking does to you. So who wants to be the multitasker? I've got a multitasker right here. Okay, so can you stand on the right side of her? And what you are going to do is you are going to ask non-invasive personal questions. Like, do you have pets? What's your mother's maiden name? No, maybe not the mother name. No, not the maiden name. What's your favorite color? Where did you grow up? Things like that. Yeah, clear? Can you stand on this side of her and ask her in that ear at the same time? That's important. Simple math questions. 1 + 1, 3 + 2, 8 - 5, things like that. Yeah? You will be in front of her, facing her. Don't be too hard on her. You're going to make movements with your arms or your legs, and she's going to copy them at the same time. Okay. So, are we ready? So you can talk in that ear, and you can talk in that ear, and you can copy him here. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go! Oh, wait a minute. The idea is that you give answers. Just kidding. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go! Okay. Okay. Please stay here for 1 second, because I play a lot of those games to actually let people experience the fact what is going on in your head. Some people, you are not alone. A lot of people are like completely. That's why it's called brain shock. So don't worry, you are not alone. The thing is that I ask her to address her left side of the brain, which is actually math and things like that, and I let you address the right side of her brain. So that's already a mix-up, because it's the wrong way around. And then she also has to mimic something going on here. So what happens? Can you explain it?
My brain was full of informations, and I was thinking of everything, and I just couldn't say it out loud because it was so confusing. It was so much information, and yeah, my brain got really shocked.
Yeah. So and you did do the movements though, so maybe that's your preference. Yeah.
Concentrated on the movements and those questions, and math questions was really like I couldn't.
I get it. Well, thank you very much. A big hand of applause, and you get games because I promised that. There you go. One for you, one for you, one for you. Do you want another to give away? Cool. Thank you so much. This is the type of games I play to let people experience what it's about. I can tell 100 people don't do 3 things at a time. Context switching. Who here knows about the context switching in code? If you are working on something very concentrated and you get pulled out of it, it will take you at least 15 to 20 minutes to get into the thing that you were working on. And this is the way to let people experience the fact that it doesn't work. So stop doing that. I love letting especially software development managers play this game to show them what it does to your brain. Relations. I still haven't figured out yet if this is really a Plato quote. So just for the sake of the presentation, I'm assuming that it is. And it is also something that I love very much because I'm also a certified coach and team coach. Playing is also about building relations. It's fun to play games together. You get to know each other a lot better. And what I said earlier today to someone, you put a looking glass on a team when you play a game. So are there any people here who are responsible for a team of people? I see some hands going up, yeah. Playing games also uncovers and reveals relations between certain people. And if people are competitive by nature, they will show that in a game setting. If people like to bend the rules a little bit, they will probably show that in a game setting. And if people hate it when other people bend the rules, they will probably respond as well. So if you want to have, I asked a group of children a while back, how do you make new friends? And they say, well, that's not that hard. I just ask them to play with me. And maybe that's not the best idea to do this in this setting at the bar later this evening, but this is how children do it. So play is an ultimate method to figure out relations and to make new relations. Yes, shall we do black stories? How's my time going? Because that clock is not running right, in the right way. Dutchisms, sorry. 35 minutes. Okay. I'm going to show an example. We're going to play it a little while and I will figure out how it works. Black stories, these are horror stories. This is a game that I love to play with software teams because these are lateral thinking puzzles. So you have to figure out what happened here, and to find out the answer, you have to ask yes or no questions, yes and no questions, or no. To be exact, are there any testers? I'm sorry. You have to bend your brain to come to the answer most of the time, because it's not always quite easy to find out what happened. So I was planning to play this game, and let's see how it works out, because this setting is a bit new for me. But this is the situation. Can everybody read it? Cool. People from the back, thank you. What happens? Do we have any ideas? And you can ask me yes and no questions, and I will repeat the question for the sake of the stream. Yes, they played chess before they were dead. Yeah. There's an assumption in that, but no. Yes. No. Good question. They were not both shot. I forgot to repeat the question. Was one of them shot? Yes, one of them was shot. Yes, one of them was shot by himself. There was no chess piece involved in the death of the other one. He is no. I played this earlier with Brenno, and he didn't figure it out. So forget that. I will give you, if you really want to know the answer, I will give you the answer at the end of the presentation, because otherwise I will use up too much time. Yes, you can. Yes, the question I got is, can we randomly ask extra questions during your talk? And yes, you can, because I know this one by heart. But the idea behind playing these types of game is if you have to develop new features or other things, or figure out a bug, or I don't know, this can help you get in a different mindset, in a more creative mindset, to figure out maybe technical problems you encounter. Teams and feedback. I already said a lot about team building and a looking glass on a team to see and understand and read a team better. Feedback, games can also help very much to be used as sort of a buffer for the feedback that you maybe feel not safe enough to give to someone. So sometimes when you play a game and you debrief the game afterwards, things are being said that normally wouldn't have been said because it's that scary to say to a colleague, "I'm sorry, but you never let me finish my sentences." Well, if you play a game and he shows the same behavior, you can tell, "Hey, I figured out that in the game you don't let me finish my sentences." It's way easier to give that back to someone. So, from my perspective, games are also an enabler to giving more honest and more valuable feedback within teams. How many minutes? 25. We are going to do this one, yes. You can all stay seated, yay. And I don't need anybody here, yay. So don't worry. No questions, Mendel? The color of the people involved. They were white. I don't know. Was it? I don't know. Their clothing is black. Okay, a lot of the games that I use, because my last name is still Beers, are coming from drinking games, actually. So let me see, how are we going to do that? We'll figure it out. Okay, so the idea is we are going to count to 33. And we will start with you. So you start with 1, and then he goes 2. Yeah, so you take turns. Let's just see how this figures out. This is why I called it an experiment as well. If a number is divisible by 3, or has a 3 in it, like 13, you have to clap instead of saying the number. Yes? So we'll start here. Oh, you said 3. Okay, we'll start again with 1 over here. 1. Oh, that's clapping. We're over here. Oh, that's the valuable battery. We'll start again at 1. Yeah. Oh, we got 13 and 14 clapped. That's too bad. 1. We will start again at 1. Oh, we already did this row? Oh, I'm sorry. 1. Oh, too bad. We start again at 1. Maybe this will take too long. But, okay, we're going to skip this one. This was fun. Interaction with the whole, with everybody. Thank you very much for playing this game. And we will start counting from 30 altogether. So, perfect. Okay, and this is also about frustration, of course. Failure. I heard a lot about failure this morning as well in Brenno's talk. Failure is important and you need to learn how to fail. This is also something that is very, very important to me. Playing is inclusive and universal. Anybody can do it. Whether you are missing a leg, you just go to the Invictus Games. But for instance, I'm also a referee for team handball for people with disabilities, mental disabilities. And it does something with people's self-esteem when they are able to play a game with other people and are being refereed by someone who sees them as a sporter and not as someone who has Down syndrome. No, I'm a referee and you are playing the sport and I'm refereeing you just as any other player on the field. And that to me is very, very important in more than one aspect, because my final end boss, I want to have a game line, so to say, with games for everybody. So I have an intern right now who is developing a VR game for blind people. And you might think, how's that possible? Well, blind people do actually, most of the time, they are able to hear. So the narrative that he chose for this game is the game is corrupt, and people with and without vision problems have to figure out puzzles to fix the game so that also people with eyesight can play the game. So it's the other way around. And I really like that narrative because I think it's important for everybody, and especially adolescents. Everybody just wants to join in. It's good for self-esteem, and it's important that everybody is able to join in. So the fact that playing is universal and inclusive is also a very important thing to me. Why are you running upstairs? Yes! Were they in a situation that they would die anyway, anytime soon? And the answer is yes, Mendel. He has the solution. A boat or a volcano? Pick. Yes, Mendel. Very good. For anyone who missed it, these two men were playing chess in a submarine, to be exact. They ran out of oxygen, and they played chess because they had one gun with one bullet. And they played chess so that the winner of the game could die fast, and the other one would suffocate. They are called black stories for a reason. We're almost there. Fun and happiness. Most of the time, people think playing games and being playful is about fun and happiness. Have you ever seen a 13-year-old play a PlayStation game? Do they look happy to you? Fun fact, what I learned last year during my ludodidactics is that gaming is not about fun and happiness. Gaming is about frustrations and overcoming obstacles. And that really was an eye-opener to me. Because of course it's fun and you get happy once you have come across those obstacles that are self-inflicted, by the way. That's a very important part of the thing. But most of the time, like the 33 game, it is very frustrated, except if you play it as a drinking game, then you just get very drunk. But a lot of games are really about frustration and getting somewhere, and also stress and other dark things and dark emotions that can happen. I don't know if people like cooperative games like Pandemic. I heard Alon say that he liked to play Pandemic. There's actual stress there to save the world, right? So it's not only about fun and happiness, of course that helps, but it's a lot about frustration as well. Sorry? There are more games with the same name, but yeah, you also have a Pandemic game, which is a cooperative game where you have to save the world, actually. So it's not always about fun and happiness. I'm going to check. Oh, I will make it. Shall we do one more physical one? But it is pretty safe. Yeah. I need. Are there any people who want to volunteer on stage? Otherwise, I will skip this game. It is not a terrible game. Otherwise, I can play it later. I also have a very cool game which I can play later at the drinking part, which is called Cyber, which is very fun. So please find me and we can play that game. So we'll skip this one. Too bad. It's okay. Playful people are more innovative, productive, motivated, and loyal. Because they are happier. And I know this is a big open door, but somehow when I go to companies and when I play games with the people, it's like, okay, so this was fun. Can I get back to work again? Please try and find ways to embed playfulness in your work, because from my perspective, if you keep a playful mind, you will create better and more beautiful products. And I think at the end of the day, we're at an open source conference. We want to create something that will make this world a better place. And I know that sounds very mushy-washy maybe, but it's okay. Now what? I will give you 3 tips. Tip number 1, start small and focus on the debrief. I gave these cards to some of the volunteers. These are big talks. These are question cards without bigger questions than small talk, because small talk is like, oh, it's hot today, and I'm really thirsty right now. Big talk has cards in it like, describe paradise to me. So what is your paradise? Or what did you want to become when you were a kid and what happened to it today? So this will be an amazing conversation starter at any place. But also you have story cubes. There's a lot of tooling around, talent, hold'em, poker. I have a whole bag full of those. So you don't have to be a great facilitator to embed some playfulness. And always after a game ask, okay, so what happened here? Did we find any structures? What happened in communication? What did you feel like? Always, a game is only a serious game if you don't forget the debrief. There's a playful format for everything. You can playify almost everything. I'm sure. We were even playful at my dad's funeral. So I'm not too scared to make this pretty bold statement that there is a playful format for everything. And also open source. There's a lot of open, playful formats going on. These, on the top of there, are 2 amazing communities of playful people like me. And we share just about everything. Every game I come up with, I share. Because I'm still an open source hippie. So these are very cool places to go to figure out new playful formats that you can play in any team. And I also do test play sessions online because Corona. Every once in a while I try out online games to play with people. So if you're interested in that, you can send an email to testplayer@happygamechangers.com and you will become my test player. One final statement. I've been in IT for 20 years now. And I'm actually a little bit sick and tired of talking about my gender, but hey, if you look at the speaker program of DORS CLUC, I'm pretty much almost alone. So I did want to say something about this, because I think it's a shame that not more women show up on this stage. And I understand that it's hard to find them, and I understand every inch of it because I've been hearing it for 20 years. So I'm aiming at the man in the audience right now. This man in the upper right corner is my favorite player too, Paul. He's the wind beneath my wings, and I know again, but he always supports me. He sends me out to conferences like this and says, hey, have fun, bye. And he's always there for me, and is an amazing, truly geek and supportive dude. This guy over here is my big brother. He was the one who gave me a computer when I was 13. And he was also the one who told me, Nancy, don't let anyone ever tell you that you cannot do something because you are a girl. And he's a bit older. I always looked up to him. He is the reason I became a drummer. He's the reason that I almost became an auto mechanic. But most of all, he was the one who always supported me and was the one who told me, you can do technical shit. Down there is my dad. He passed 4 years ago. And the way he still supports me and the rest of the Netherlands, my dad placed playgrounds for 30 years all over the Netherlands. So children today are still playing at my dad's work. And that's a beautiful legacy. I want to build on his legacy in bringing more playfulness, combine that with IT, and be this kind of ally, please, and help get more women on this stage. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the presentation. It was amazing. That is everything for today. See you all tomorrow. Thank you.